All right. So today I am here with Eli Jacquez from Freedom Church. Eli is the next generation pastor. So really excited to chat today, Eli.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me today. Super honored to be a part of the call and to be a part of just what you guys are doing over at Playlister.
Awesome. Well, honored you can join me. And I'm kind of curious. Tell me a bit about your background. What got you into next gen ministry, and how did you find your role at Freedom Church?
Yeah. So I was called into ministry whenever I was 15 years old, I want to say. And I was
Okay.
coming back home from a summer camp, and I mean, during summer camps as a youth, I mean, you're up every single night of the week, super late, and so I was crashed out on the way back home, and God just woke me up and was, I felt the sense of pursuing ministry whenever I was at the camp, and then just him
Mhm.
waking me up on the way back home, he was like, "Hey, I'm calling you to be in full-time ministry as a pastor." And as a 15-year-old, I'm like, I don't know what that means, but I'm all for it. Let's see what happens, and just see where you take me. And so just started getting plugged in more into the local church, and just seeing just the different sides of ministries. I served in kids ministry since I was maybe 9 or 10 years old, and
Oh,
so just getting more plugged in with that, and then being a youth as well, going to small groups and seeing how that played out, and really just anytime there was any opportunity to serve for students, I was just always there and willing to serve. And then just whenever it got time just for college, I got to choose, what I wanted to pursue, and so just more prayer and just more, reflecting on just what I've gotten to be a part of. I looked and just saw that, I really had a huge passion just for the next generation, and just seeing them fall more in love with Jesus through, you know, small groups for sure, but just seeing, children raising their hands and proclaiming their love for Jesus, and then seeing students dive deeper into what the Word of God says, and seeing them draw closer to the Lord. I love that I get to be a part of that. I always say it's right now, it's never a job for me. It's always just a passion. I always wake up excited to just get into the office, go to Sunday mornings just ready to love on some people, and then I go to bed every night just saying, man, I got to be a part of this today. Cannot wait for tomorrow.
awesome. Well, yeah, that
Yeah,
is
man.
spectacular. And you found the right calling, not a job, when
Yeah.
you are excited for Mondays and go to bed excited for tomorrow. So,
Yep.
that's something a lot of young people really aim for. So, what advice would you have to college kids, maybe even high schoolers, like
Yeah.
interested in pursuing that calling to ministry?
Yeah. That's an amazing question. Honestly, I would say it's all about your relationship with the Lord. It's
Mm.
my gym partner. He always, whenever the first time we went into the gym, he told me that as long as you get the form correct, the weight will follow. And so I believe it's the same
Mm.
thing with your relationship with the Lord. When you get that correct, and when you're putting Him first, not just with finances, but with your schooling, with your time, with your work, everything that you do, when you're putting Him first into it, everything else is going to follow. And so the times where I struggled with what I wanted to pursue, and what I wanted to do next, I always just fell back on, okay, Lord, what are you saying to me right now? What is something that you want me to do? Where do you want me to take this ministry, and who do you want me to take along in this ministry? And so honestly, it's just throughout any age, I think it's just once you fall back on your relationship with the Lord and really just pursue Him first, the job will come. The He'll take care of you in every single aspect of it. And so there's never been a point where I put my stresses and my anxieties over my relationship with the Lord. For sure, I've been stressed and anxious, but I always fell back on, okay, Lord, I know that your word says that you take care of the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees and all that, but we're more valuable, we're more important than that. And so you say you're going to take care of us first, and so I trust you in that, and I'm just going to keep putting you first in everything I do, and we'll I trust you. And so that's my advice I'd say to them, is just keep putting Him first, keep seeking Him in it, um, and daily just die to your selfish desires, and keep in step with the Holy Spirit.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's and it's almost paradoxical. The more you worry and stress out about this stuff, hey, you know,
Yeah.
God, He's got you. You can
Right.
calm down.
Yep.
Perfect. And shifting gears a bit, Eli, you know, you've had years of experience in next gen ministry. What are some of your, you know, tips for creating a place where, you know, kids and parents want to come back to church, you know, engaging
Yeah.
experiences?
Yeah. So, and honestly, right now with the church I'm at, Freedom Church, we've seen a lot of growth just over these past few months, just with new families coming in. We're seeing, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, a skyrocket attendance with just our kids alone. I mean, we're over 100 every Sunday with kids, and that's just kids alone. It's not adding volunteers with it, and so um, really what I'm all about and what I truly believe that what we were created for is relationships and
Mm-hmm.
togetherness. You know, the very first thing that God said that just wasn't good was that man was alone. And so because man was alone, that's when he created his suitable helper, and you know they did life together. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing that I just see with our kids ministry and with the youth ministry is that you know they're yes we're going to partner alongside with kids and you know be their buddies, you know, the ones that are straight up just crazy they need a buddy,
Yeah.
you know, we get to partner alongside them and love on them, color with them, and even just you know throughout kids as a whole we partner with them and you show them just the love of Jesus, teach them about how to be patient, how to be kind, and showing them the character of God. But then also for youth, you know they deal with some pretty heavy stuff as well on a more
Mm-hmm.
heavier level, and so partnering with them and you know shooting them a text every week just saying hey man, praying for you, thinking about you this week, how's your week going, and just really wanting to be present in their lives. Because I think just with the generation that we're in right now, they're soaking up all this different types of information, but they're looking for consistency. They're looking for people that are going to be in their lives consistently and often. And so, you know, I stress to you know the youth leaders, and I stress to the volunteers for kids ministry that hey, you know, we get an amazing opportunity to partner with the next generation and to love on them, but then also partnering alongside with their parents as well, and you know seeing how they're doing and reaching out to them, seeing how we can pray for them and pastor them. Because you know I can definitely do it for sure, but it's and it means a lot, but I think it would mean even more if together as a team that when a parent gets a text from a youth leader or from a kids ministry volunteer leader, that they're like wow, like not only is it just from the next gen pastor, but it's also with the whole team as well. And so that's what I would say is you know pretty much important for a next gen ministry, whether if you're in kids or in youth, that it's all about you know togetherness and building relationships and um, you know just living it out, because that's what we were made for.
Absolutely. Could not agree more there, Eli. And I'm curious, what are some values you and maybe the rest of your team operate by to ensure you are there
Yeah,
for kids and youth?
yeah. So obviously, you know, it for me, it just boils down to what the greatest commandments that Jesus gave: love your Lord God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and then love others as
Mm-hmm.
you love yourself. And so, um, with loving God, you know, it's what I just said earlier. It's you know we're putting God first and seeking Him way before you know we seek what our job offers or what our paychecks even look like, and so on and so forth. But then also loving others as you know we love ourselves. And you know we when you read that, obviously we see it as the two greatest ones: love your God and love others, right? And so it's you know putting others above ourselves and you know dying to you know what we want to do and what's on our heart. You know we do it for the betterment and for others to stand on our shoulders as ministers, as pastors, as leaders, to see them grow even higher than we can, and seeing them you know fully walk in their god-given talents and their callings. But then also you know it's the last part of it is love others more than yourselves. And so obviously it's easy for us to love ourselves and easy for us to really put ourselves first. And you know as leaders, you know it's you died to that, but also it's important to really just it's important to pour into yourself, and so to grow you in your spiritual aspect, in your physical aspect, and emotional and mental, right? But just getting back to your question, it's
Yeah.
we really just pull out, loving God, putting Him first, and leading people to that. We can't go to a place, or we can't bring others to a place if we haven't gone there ourselves. And so we have a strong emphasis on, are we spending time with the Lord each and every single week? Are we soaking it up in prayer? Because if not, then how are we supposed to teach our children? How are we supposed to teach the youth how to do that if we're not doing it ourselves? And just putting them, loving them in any way we can. We truly do live on those two values. And then obviously with Next Generation Ministries, it's all about having fun. And so we want a spirit of joy, spirit of fun, and the games that we play in kids, the fun that we have in youth. I love laughter. I think it's great to always just have that atmosphere of joy in the room, because that's when all the walls come down, and that's where you get the vulnerable and serious moments. But just seeing kids and students who just had a rough week at home or at school coming in and just having fun with their buddies has just been, there's nothing else that brings you better joy than to see them laugh and to see them goof around and have fun.
Absolutely. Could not agree more there. And that's a good segue, Eli. I'm curious, what are some of your both short term and long term ministry goals?
Yeah. So some some short term right now is really building up the team for
Mhm.
both kids and youth ministry. That's, I think, our pastor always tells us that the one of the hardest teams to really grow in a church is kids ministry. And so that's
Mhm.
definitely something that I think every church does experience, is really growing that kids ministry. And I'm not perfect at it whatsoever, but it's growing that and really developing a solid team where people see the vision of kids ministry, see the vision of youth ministry, and pursue it with their whole hearts, and really just want to see the next generation move. And so that's a goal, short term goal that I have, is to grow this team. But then long term, it's, I want the team to really have a sense of family. I think
Mhm.
it's super easy to get in on a Sunday morning, and you have all these different um, tasks that you got to get done, and children are coming in like 5 minutes, and you're making final preparations for that Sunday. But
Mhm.
and you can get in the zone of just like task oriented and just zoned into where you're going, and not really like, you go, you do your thing, and then you leave. And so I want it to be a family, whether if you're in youth ministry or kids ministry, that when you show up on a Sunday morning, that it's that's your family. And whether if you're plugged into a small group or not, you can say that kids ministry and youth ministry, those leaders and those volunteers that you serve alongside with, that's your small group way before you're even plugged into one.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, I could not agree more with those points, Eli. And really enjoyed the conversation today. I'm curious, what additional advice would you want to give ministry leaders?
Yeah. Um, Something that my father just has always instilled in me whenever before I even thought about ministry, and even whenever I was interested in it, and even now, he really just reminds me of this all the time, is that your public life displays your private life. And so
Mhm.
what you really need to focus on is, what are you like behind closed doors, right? Because you can be on stage, you can be in front of people, but are you putting on a fake persona, or are you putting on your real persona? And so
Mhm.
it's, I think for ministry leaders, it can be such an easy thing for us to be like, oh, we got to put on this, I got it all together persona, and that, yes, I'm a pastor, and so I gotta look like I'm a pastor. I have to do all this. But it's like, no, be who you truly are. Like, don't fake it. Don't be someone that God didn't create you to be. Like, be your true self. You're a work in progress. You're not perfect. And so live out your imperfections. Give grace to yourself. And that's, I'm not the best at it whatsoever. I'm like the worst when it comes to giving grace to myself, but great to giving it to others. And so I'm
Mhm.
learning right now of like, yes, I'm not perfect, and yes, I make mistakes, but man, I'm gonna give myself grace, and I'm gonna really just do my best to love myself and to really just be true to who I am in person and or in public and in private.
Absolutely. Yeah. Be who God created you to be.
Yeah.
And that is something we can all do better job at. So,
Yep.
yeah, well, appreciate the advice, Eli, and it was great talking to you. So, thank you
Yeah,
so much
man.
for sharing so much.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.